afternoon. It's McCollum on Business here, Monday edition. Hope you guys all survived the Super Bowl weekend, waste management weekend as well here around the Phoenix area. And back to work here, unfortunately, here on this Monday as we look forward to a week ahead. We've got a busy week here in the business world, and we'll get it started early here, right? What we do here for the next 30 minutes or so? Well, of course, I'm Stephen McCollum, but we get you updated on what's happening around the business world. Market watch, stocks we're paying attention to, local, national stories that you need to know after the weekend. All about your 401k, your stock investments, or just what's happening in the economy as a whole out there. And let's get it started immediately with the Market Watch. Dow's at a fresh record before it started to retreat a little bit earlier as well. Dow closed on Friday over 50,000 for the first time ever. You can see it's still above it, even though it is down the 51 points right now. It's at 50,065 right now. S&P 500 is up about 40 points right now. It's been kind of fluctuating in that 40 down to 30, etc. Kind of throughout the day. 69.67 for S&P 500. Then the NASDAQ, and we apologize for the link being broken there, but the NASDAQ's up 218 points right now. 23,249 is what we're looking at. NASDAQ is being run up all because of tech right now, and S&P 500's gains are due to tech as well, but tech is on the rise here today. Russell 2K, 9 points up right now. That small cap index is trading at 2689 for it. Bitcoin, well, it is technically up today, 420 points right now, but it's hovering here at the 70,000 level. 70,747 is what it's trading at. So look, it touched 60,000 last Thursday. Been in that 70,000 range here for a while as well. And, lots of consternation around not just Bitcoin, but the cryptocurrencies as a whole over the last week. Stocks we're paying attention to right now, well, let's get into it with a couple media groups out there. First one, Nexstar Media Group is the first stock we're going to look at, up big today, 10.61%. They're a TV and digital media provider, if you don't know what they do out there. They do have a bunch of ABC and NBC stations, that type of a thing, among other stuff. Well, they're up, as you see, 10.61% right now. Well, because President Trump came out in no shocker here, a social media post over the weekend. I believe it was on Saturday, if I remember correctly. And President Trump, on that social media post, reversed his earlier position. He says he now supports the merger of Nexstar. And the next stock we're going to look at, Tegna, also out there. Tegna's also up 8.39% here today. So President Trump changed his mind, put it out on social media on Saturday. Well, here on Monday, both of these companies are trading up 10% and 8% here, as now it looks like the merger has been approved, at least on government levels, and so that can move forward as well. And then let's look at Kroger here as well. Kroger, if you don't know, and I'd be shocked if you don't, they're the parent company of what we know here in Arizona as Fry's Food and Drugs. Well, shares are up big today, 4.64% right now. They were up over 6% earlier. But Kroger has a new CEO. They finally have named a replacement. It's going to be former Walmart executive Greg Ferran as the new CEO of Kroger. So he was head of Walmart's U.S. business at one point. He oversaw a turnaround of that division. And Kroger's kind of looking for a turnaround after that failed Albertsons merger, and then they lost their CEO to mysterious circumstances. Now, finally, new CEO, turnaround techniques, Kroger up 4.59% right now here on this Monday. When we come back later and look at stocks, we're going to look at some kind of what we talked about at the end of last week. Novo Nordisk, him and hers health, kind of joined at the hip, right? Last week we talked about them, and we're going to talk about them again today here on Monday. And then AppLovin, my favorite stock to stay out there, marketing platform. We're going to take a look at them as well here coming up in just a little bit. But first, the stories that you need to know after the weekend. On Friday, that just a quick update for you. We don't have any graphs or pictures on this. India and the U.S., the trade agreement is official as of Friday. President Trump put that out on social media on Monday, and pretty much the same framework of the deal was there on Friday when they did announce, the two countries did announce that. So that came out over the weekend. And then On Friday, also, President Trump signed an executive order. It quadruples the amount of beef that is flowing into the United States. That's big news, right? If you just grilled over the weekend and hadn't bought steak in a while, you know what those prices have done, right? So this is all coming, and this executive order is all about this beef coming in from Argentina. The new trade agreement with Argentina as well with this executive order. Argentina's foreign ministry did write in a statement that the new agreement will grant there it will excuse me quote grant an unprecedented expansion of preferential access to Argentine beef to its market by 100,000 tons unquote. They use big words, and I'm just stumbling over them today, right? Government representatives do that. So it's about an $800 million in Argentine beef exports to the United States moving forward. So this executive order specifically said that domestic production capacity, well, it's failed to keep pace with increasing demand in recent years, which they say in the executive order that has led to these higher prices. This executive order does note that the cost of beef has obviously soared, and we know this as well, peaking at $6.69 per pound in December. And that's according to the Federal Reserve and those government reports we talk about here. That's the highest level of beef product prices have reached since the Department of Labor started tracking prices all the way back in 1984. Yeah, it's been up through the roof, meat prices are. And I've argued to you guys, we're all paying it, and the demand isn't waning at all. So the prices aren't going to go down because they know we'll pay these higher prices. So this executive order does clear the way for the U.S. to allow the importation of an additional 20,000 metric tons of beef every quarter. That's going to be at a lower tariff rate until the end of this year in 2026. I saw some of the Cattle Ranchers Association here in the Americas. They came out against this deal, saying it's just a false way of driving down prices. It's not going to actually drive down prices at all, which is kind of what the idea behind this move is out there. So the cattle groups and all the meat groups here in America kind of downplayed this. Obviously, they want to sell more beef, but at the same time, they got to get their cattle up and all the problems they've had to help us drive those prices down. So maybe we'll get some relief here coming up. We'll have to wait and see as well. And obviously, the big story here on this Monday is Super Bowl and commercials is what obviously this show will focus on. We talked about the game itself there on the main event here earlier today, and the thing that shocked me the most with the commercials was, obviously you got the Budweisers, you've got the Pepsi was big all weekend, but every major and even small AI company, artificial intelligence, they all bought ads to showcase their tools and their products out there, not just for the consumer side of their AI, but also what it can do for your business as well. The amount of ads here for AI actually kind of shocked me a little bit. If you don't know that the Super Bowl ads cost $8 million over the weekend, that was a record dollar amount, and that was for an average of 30-second spots out there. Some actually, if you bought them later or didn't have a deal kind of in place, they could go as high as $10 million. And then obviously you have to produce the ad on top of that amount. That's just for the spot. Then you got to make the ad. Even before the weekend came, last week, Anthropic's Claude, that AI, it debuted an ad skewering OpenAI's decision to include ads in ChatGPT. We gave you that story here at McCollum on Business a couple of weeks ago as well. Well, what that did, this was before the Super Bowl weekend, that ad kind of making fun of ChatGPT adding advertisements, well, it triggered a response directly from OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, which obviously just drew more attention to the campaign by Claude there, Anthropic's Claude, to those ads. OpenAI did actually, in fact, return to the Super Bowl ad slate this year. They actually debuted last year in a 60-second spot. Well, they were back this year, if you saw that one. Google ran ads for its second year for their Gemini AI and what you can do with it and its features. Amazon's AI got involved as well. They did a big ad leading into concerns about AI in the home with a spot for Alexa Plus. That was the one with Chris Hemsworth, if you saw that one out there. Chris Hemsworth was expressing some comedic concerns about the risk of artificial intelligence. Meta got involved as well, but Meta didn't actually promote any features or anything for their artificial intelligence. Now, they returned with spots for that Oakley Meta AI glasses, which does give you access to AI tools and all of those features. So instead of talking specifically about their chatbot, they just went with those glasses out there. I was messing around with their glasses last week. I was in a tech store and they had them. I was messing around with them, and I don't get why Meta's pushing those so much. But yeah, good luck to them. But it wasn't just those big companies, right? Smaller AI companies got into those Super Bowl spots. There's a startup out there called Genspark. Well, it marketed its AI productivity platform. That's for businesses. It had and that was the ad featuring Matthew Broderick. Base 44, they showcased its AI powered app development tool. They said anyone can use its products to create custom apps. Wix, that AI company, they're known for tools to create websites. Well, they will showcase its new Harmony platform, or they did showcase it in the Super Bowl. It uses AI to enable web design. That's what they do. So, the shocking thing about the commercials yesterday, we know they're spending tons of money on data centers. We know they're all trying to outbid each other, especially the big guys, and outdo each other and what's out there. But AI advertising is obviously ramping up as well, and that was evident yesterday in the Super Bowl commercials that happened as well. And here's a story on the athletes, right? And there's such a thing as they call a jock tax out there, meaning if you're from, let's say, Seattle, and you go down into California and you play a game, well, you get taxed for that day of playing the game there. And actually, for the Super Bowl, because they're there for 7 days or 8 days, they get taxed for the whole week at California rates. They're out there. And obviously, the Super Bowl was played in Santa Clara, California, just outside of San Jose. And the California is one of the they're one of the states, but I'd say they're the leaders here of that jock tax out there. And they certainly have the highest levels of that. That assesses taxes on players based on the number of days they spend playing or practicing in a given area, right? So in this case, California. But you can have state and you can have federal jock tax out there as well. It can get expensive to go to California for a full week and get ready for the Super Bowl. The NFL's collective bargaining agreement sets the bonuses paid to players. If you win it, you get a bigger amount than if you lose it out there, right? Players winning the Super Bowl, they each receive $178,000 per day, while players on the losing team, they get $103,000. So basically, with the jock tax in there, I mean, don't feel sorry for them, right? But the winning team, well, they're actually going to take home about $86,000 after those jock taxes are out of there. So they started $178,000. They walk out with $86,000. If you're on the losing team there, well, your take-home pay is going to be about $49,800 because of those California jock taxes. And, big chunks of taxes taken out. I actually saw something where Sam Darnold himself, the quarterback of the Seahawks, they broke down his pay and, what he makes as a salary and then the bonuses. Keep in mind, they tax the salary you make as well during that time frame. So his salary for the week of being there, plus the bonus of winning it, actually he lost money by playing in the Super Bowl if you break it down. Now, they have write-offs and stuff I'm sure they can do, but lost money there with the tax amount based off of California tax and these jock taxes out there as well. Like I said, I don't necessarily feel sorry for him, but at the same time, it's amazing how many taxes are over there in California specifically. And the Super Bowl is not the only big sporting event that happened over the weekend. Obviously, the Olympics got underway officially on Friday with the opening ceremonies. Record viewership for that opening events on Friday. And now, we talk a lot here on this program about the giant surge in gold, silver, copper prices out there. Like gold hit 5,000 just, a week or two ago out there. And those record highs that these precious metals are getting to, well, that means the medals awarded in 2026 Winter Olympics over in Milan, well, they're going to be the most expensive in history. The spot price of gold has risen over 70% in the last year. Like I said, went over 5,000 at one point. I don't know when the metals are made, so I don't know what the pricing was when they were put together and made out there, but we know how much they've gone up over the last year, and record numbers as well. So silver prices have surged 143% in the last year as well. So, and we all know copper is scarce out there and going through the roof, right? Being here in Arizona. But Olympic medals have clearly, they have sentimental value to the athletes because these athletes, spent years training, their whole lives training to win these medals. And, the so they don't really care what the price of medals are. Obviously, some do sell them. Greg Louganis sold a bunch of his Olympic medals at one time as well. How are the medals made this year? Well, they're made by an Italian state mint and Polygraphic Institute. They're based on set specifications using metal that was recycled on its own production waste. Interesting enough, the metals are breaking, and not in good ways. Not because they're being abused. Like I said, a U.S. skier won a gold over the weekend and just jumped up and down, and it broke. The broke from the lanyard, and then fell to the ground, and then broke when it hit the ground as well. So, yeah, gold medals awarded at these Winter Games. Well, they're going to have just 6 grams of gold in their total weight of 506 grams. The remainder is going to be composed of silver. Silver medals are made solely of silver and weigh 500 grams. So the extra grams there obviously is coating it with the gold on top. So if you go and look at the price of $4,950 per troy ounce of gold, 6 grams of gold, well, it's about $955. And then you got the 500 grams of silver. Well, they're worth about $1,221. So that makes it about 76 cents an ounce, or $76, excuse me, an ounce for silver. So we're talking a few $1,000s here for these medals. Bronze medals, interesting enough, are made by copper, made of copper. They weigh 420 grams as well. That's about 1 pound, 0.93 pounds, in case you need that conversion. At a current market rate of $5.89 per pound, a bronze medal is valued at about $5.45. Cracks me up a little bit. That the gold is, worth 900 or 1,000, over $1,000. Silver is over about $1,000 as well, right? $76 an ounce. Yeah, and then the bronze medal. Yeah, here's your $5. But most expensive in history here for the Olympians. But look, some of them will sell them over time, but most of them, now, there's sentimental value, obviously, for them as well. And I got a follow up here for you. We've talked a lot about the business side of sports here today. And, last a couple weeks ago, we talked about Affirm, that pay now, those pay now or buy now, pay later services, how they were getting into the rent side of things. And there's a couple other ones out there. So if you can't pay your rent, they will, set up a payment. They'll pay the whole thing for you on the first, split your payment up into 2 equal payments. And we weren't sure. We know there's fees attached to it, and we know all that stuff. We're getting some clarity here on what the fees are with these companies now, with this rent now, pay later services. Yes, because those services are emerging over the past year or so, and all because of rents going through the roof, housing costs through the roof, and then, of course, paychecks growing less predictable or not predictable at all if you don't have one. As well out there. And obviously, gig economy workers have big concerns on their paychecks as well as lower income consumers as well. So, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, as we all know, if you've rented or even bought a house recently, but rents specifically have jumped about 28% in the past 5 years. Yes, rents are going down right now as well. They have been going down for the last 6 months to a year, but they're still up there, right, in highs of lows based off of what's happened here recently as well. So we told you about Affirm recently doing the buy now, pay later with the rents, but there's a company called Flex, a company called Livable as well, already doing the rent now, pay rent now, get your rent paid now and buy later. I don't even know how to phrase it, right? But they all break rent into multiple payments, and they say that can help renters manage your cash flow. Obviously, the big concern here is what fees are attached to this. And consumer advocates do warn you that products typically function like short-term loans, which means they're pricey in terms of their fees or interest rates out there. If you have a strained budget already making rent or you're able to pay rent, but you suffer in food and other things, obviously layering fees will hurt you even more to those strained budgets out there. And if you have triple, double, triple interest rates on there, obviously it can do a lot of damage to your free capital out there as well. So, do these types of services actually ease financial pressures or make it worse? I actually would argue they make it worse. For instance, they went and they found somebody out there that kind of get the fee breakdown on this, somebody that's used this rent program. And so they say every month there was somebody that was using Flex here, that company, to split up their rent payments and everything because they're a gig worker. So instead of paying his whole $1,850 rent in the first of the month, he would go to this service, they would pay it, and he would pay $1,350 on that on the first, and then he would pay the $500 on the 15th to break that up. So what were the fees on that service? Flex collected a $14.99 monthly subscription fee, and then they took 1% of the total rent as well, which if you do the math there, $18.50 on top of that. So $14.99 plus $18.50 in fees. Doesn't sound like a lot, but obviously adding some strain to the budgeting as well. So his monthly charges for the app to use that and split up his payment, well, it was about $33 in fees on top of it every month as well, right? 109 million Americans, which is about 42.5 million households. Well, they're renters here in the United States. The Census Bureau estimates in 2024 that a large share of those households pay 30% or more of their monthly income on rent. Not supposed to go higher than 25%. The Bureau considers such households to be cost burdened, which basically means rent consumes so much of their income that they actually have less ability to plan for future expenses or save anything or build wealth, moving forward as well. And does a $33 fee payment now can help you out and get you out of a pinch, no doubt about that. But if you're paying an extra $33, those fees are going to go up over time. But does that strain you even more? So kind of just in a follow-up there on we know kind of the fee amounts that are hitting with those services now is we didn't know about them when we were talking about them a few weeks ago out there. And when we come back here at McCollum on Business, we're going to do some local stuff out there, all right? Those ESL certificates here, right, in Arizona, the ones that, universal school voucher programs. Well, some people want to change that here a little bit more. We'll talk about that. Plus some more local stuffs out there. Then, of course, we'll give you the market watch, some stocks we're paying attention to. We're going to go ahead and look at Novo Nordisk, Hims & Hers Health, making some more waves this week after making waves at the end of last week. App Lovin's in the news. Come on back, folks. Monday's edition of McCollum on Business. And we're back here, McCollum on Business, Monday edition. And folks, you just saw the ad right there, right? The Real Matrix, new episodes here at Robat TV On Demand, 10 a.m. here on Fridays, new episodes every week. And then free podcast system for it as well if you'd rather listen to it out there. If you don't catch it here at Robat TV, Free Cop Podcast System, just search The Real Matrix on your favorite podcast system, Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeart, where all the podcasts can be found. Search The Real Matrix, pops right up for you. We see you guys that have found that and listen to it from that perspective. We see everybody that watches it here at Robat TV as well. And now, folks, we had it on the YouTube page of our production company for all the shows we do here as well. Well, that we had to kind of make some changes on that. We're still going to be updating our YouTube page with the shows, but kind of like shortened versions of it to get you excited about it. If you want to catch the Real Matrix right now on demand, well, it's now available on Rumble for you. All 16 episodes, just like everyone else, is now available out there. The general page is TME Media, which is our production company out there. And then if search for that or The Real Matrix, it has its own channel within TME Media. All 16 episodes are there on demand as of last Friday as well. So check that out. They'll be posted there coming up as well. Real Matrix making some waves here in the world. And come and join it. The Angry Patriot just asks that you show up and have a open mind here as you go into his show. Of course, the main event is in the can here for Monday. We talked Super Bowl, of course, Suns, Bobby Hurley's situation as well today. A lot of stuff as pitchers and catchers are getting to report. You're a sports fan, catch us here. Main event live, 8 to 10 a.m. here on Robat TV, exclusively live to Robat TV. On demand here at Robat TV, it's available now. And, of course, free podcast systems. Just search TME Sports Show, and it pops right up for you. Then, of course, the YouTube page here of our production company at TME Sports Show. It comes here for you. Out there, you can just search the main event with Steven or main event with Dale. It pops up as well. Catch us there. Like and subscribe to YouTube or the podcast systems. Even if you catch us here at Robat TV and don't listen to those, just helps us get it out there as well. Our audiences here are overwhelmingly here at Robat TV, and we appreciate you for that. We're just trying to get it out there for other people as well to catch what we do and how we do it here. And then you got this show as soon as we're done here. 11 o'clock here today, 7 a.m. tomorrow. Don't forget, Tuesdays, breakfast morning show here for you, business show. 7 a.m. tomorrow here. We've got an overwhelmingly good feedback. So we've got decisions to make here coming up. Do we move this show to the mornings exclusively? Do we keep doing them separate? Do we find somebody to host an afternoon business show? And I move it to the mornings. We have choices coming and interesting things there. So we got decisions to make. If you're interested in hosting a business show in the afternoons, hey, hit me up. We might be looking for somebody coming up here as well as we make those decisions. But on demand, YouTube, obviously Robat TV as well. No podcast system for this. And then programming note here with the Clash finally getting in last week. Daytona 500 this weekend. NASCAR gets underway this Sunday for the Cup Series. Saturday for the O'Reilly Series, guys. Of course, Truck Series this week as well. Season debut of the Pit Stop is coming up this Wednesday. It's going to go on demand about 2 o'clock here on Wednesday of this week. We're going to preview this season here, talk about what happened in the offseason, get you ready for the Daytona 500 this weekend. Come and join me on the Pit Stop here. This year, we'll have some guests joining us from time to time, co-hosting the show and everything. But first episode this Wednesday, on demand, Robat TV, on the YouTube page, free podcast system for that. Follow me at the Pit Stop Talk. Find the X as well as the podcast systems out there. Debuting this Wednesday for this new racing season. NASCAR, IndyCar starts in March. Of course, F1 gets underway shortly as well. So come and join us. It's going to be a fun racing season as well out there with the Pit Stop. And folks, so enough of that being said, let's get into the Market Watch. As I said, the Dow is kind of down. Obviously, 21 points, 19 points down right now for the Dow. Everything else is up, led by tech out there. S&P 500 is up to 38 points. The NASDAQ link is broken, so we apologize. The site we use has that link broken, and we're trying to get through that, but the NASDAQ is up 200 points today. Russell 2K, that small cap index, up 6 points right now. Bitcoin, well, it's getting lower here as the day's going on, hovering in that 70,000 range after going down and touching 60,000 last Thursday, I believe it was. Lots of consternation around the cryptocurrencies right now, specifically Bitcoin. For everybody that A lot of people bought that at that higher number as well. So something to keep our eyes on here with Bitcoin. If one of these big investors decides to cut their losses, this could devastate that Bitcoin stock moving forward. Stocks we're paying attention to right now. Well, we talked about this last week, so we're going to talk about it again today. Novo Nordisk is the first stock we're going to look at here in this segment. 3.54% up right now as well. They were up last week as well. They threatened to sue Hims and Hers Health with that Wegovy pill that came out. And folks, they've officially done it now as well. Even though Hims and Hers on Friday did say they weren't going to come out with it, they changed their mind. Leave it, please don't bother us. Well, Novo Nordisk has come out as well and done that. Hims and Hers has officially pulled its copycat weight loss pill for that Wegovy pill off the market as well. So Novo Nordisk gives up that 3.53%. Hims and Hers Health is the next stock we're going to look at here because it's kind of in this story. Way down today. 19.20% down today as well. They were down over 24% at one time today. But obviously trying to, copycat weight loss this pill. That's the only one authorized for the market, this Wegovy one. Eli Lilly's version of Zepbound won't be out until sometime in April. We're looking at right now. So that battle is still happening. Hims and Hers taking it on the chin today, at least in the terms of the stock market. 19.16% down for them. And then there's App Loving out there. They got some good news as well. They're up 14.99% right now. And why are we looking at the mobile marketing platform here, App Loving, as I like to say it? Well, Capital Watch, that company came out, and they actually issued an apology and a correction for money laundering charges that it made against AppLovin in January. AppLovin threatened lawsuits. They threatened a lot of other stuff. They demanded a retraction and apology. This was a 35-page report that Capital Watch put out detailing money laundering that AppLovin was involved in. Well, Capital Watch has officially issued that apology and correction as well out there. So they've done it. AppLovin seems exonerated here from those charges. 14.99% up here today. AppLovin is based off of that retraction. And I wouldn't be shocked if a lawsuit still doesn't happen for it because, there's some damage done if it wasn't true and they actually are rescinding that 35-page report out there. Now let's get into some local stories here on McCollum on Business. And officially now, right, before there's been a talk on the government side, but a pair of education groups are proposing a ballot initiative where you as consumers would vote on it in an election because they want to take control and rein in the Arizona Universal School Voucher Program. The school voucher program is the one you've heard about, right? It's ballooned to over $1 billion a year expense to the Arizona government. It was first approved in 2022. This is the one, if you follow this or have heard about it, these are those ESLs, I guess they call them. But it's the one where they don't question what you buy with it, even though it's supposed to be bought for kids in schools and kids with challenges and things to that effect. But they're going for other things like grand pianos and expensive things. The measure that they want to push through these two groups, they would disqualify families that make over $150,000 a year. They also want to create accountability standards for private schools when it comes to testing, background checks, and even those misconduct allegations. These are all things that have been alleged and say what's happening here in this program. Arizona Department of Education, well, they were initially approving all expenses up to $2,000. No questions asked. And then they go back and do an audit and a review, and they find out that some families, well, they've been taking advantage of that. They were using the program to buy jewelry, go on vacation, luxury items. Like I said, grand pianos were part of this and things. So people now, a couple groups trying to get involved with a government or a bond issue here, right? So we can vote on that because the government's just moving slowly here to kind of corral in some of the waste and fraud happening in that deal. And it is ballooned up. And that's coming right out of our tax dollars as that fraud, I guess we could say, balloons up at that point. And then let's go down south here to the University of Arizona. And we see a lot of federal government funding going away right now, specifically toward green entities. One thing we know the government here, the Trump administration, is not afraid to do, and that's put money into those rare earth minerals or minerals in general. And now the federal government is providing a $3 million. They're going to support that new mineral processing plant down at the University of Arizona. This facility will be connected to an underground mine that's down there near the town of Sahuarita. Sahuarita. I always struggle with saying that, folks. The facility will serve as a training lab. So, students, faculty, industry partners, they're going to use both traditional and experimental methods to crush rocks to separate the materials out of those rocks. It's not like you just go down there and you find a mineral, you pick it up and you hot toss it in a bin, and all of a sudden you have new minerals. You're extracting these minerals out of the rocks and things are very pricey, and a lot of people trying to figure out how to do it more efficiently. So this federal funding comes because University of Arizona also received that $850,000 award from the Arizona legislature as well. The U.S. This is how in dire need it is for mineral or mining engineers out there. The U.S. is graduating about 200 mining engineers every year across the whole country. Yeah. They estimate in this field that they need about 400 to 600 to graduate a year. That's just to fill minimum industry needs out there. So, federal funding, obviously, Arizona funding to the University of Arizona to try to get more people into this industry in terms of mining engineers and those things. So hopefully this will add that up there because we're having a shortage at a time when we know we need these raw minerals and we don't have to rely on China as much to get them over there. So if you have a kid coming out of school and he's into that type of stuff, push him that way. They need it, pays well. They need the people. Be phenomenal to get them into that as well. And kind of a follow up here for you. We told you about this back in October. There's a company called Cadre Holdings. I believe they're out of Florida, but don't quote me on that. They have actually closed that $175 million acquisition of a company called TYR Tactical, who's based out of Peoria. As I said, we told you about this story back in October, this deal. An offer was out there. It did actually close at the end of January as well. They actually issued an amendment to the securities purchase agreement right before it closed as well, which allowed it to happen and the closing to happen as well. So they do tactical gear, things like body armor, tactical accessories for law enforcement, military, and security professionals. I'm assuming this is a competitor here to Axon, who also does a lot of that stuff. TYR Tactical as well. They have customers in 40 countries. They had a purchase price of $145 million at that time. The sale price included $120 million in cash and $25 million in Cadre's common stock. But what they did was they added two Peoria buildings that were acquired as part of the deal in that additional $30 million part of it. So TYR Tactical now officially closed. And I believe I think it's the mayor of Peoria. A politician in Peoria is an owner of that TYR Tactical company as well, which caused some question marks for some people out there. But that a deal is now done as well. And over the weekend, I know there's the Super Bowl Waste Management Open. Well, I went yesterday. Instead of going to the Waste Management Open, I went and saw a movie yesterday. I saw Mercy last week, which was that Chris Pratt movie about in a chair about murder. It was all right. If you're into that type of thing, you can check it out. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. I just didn't particularly care for it too much. Well, I went to that survival thriller, Send Help, yesterday. Rachel McAdams is the lead in that one. It did repeat as number one in ticket sales over the weekend as well. Phenomenal movie, folks. I thought it was brilliant. Sam Raimi, who I love as a director, not necessarily his Spider-Man stuff out there, but definitely his older stuff. Just love the way he puts a story together, and he did not disappoint in this survival thriller movie as well. But Melania, that Trump documentary, came in second as well, even though it did fall sharply in its second weekend and picked up screens out there as well. By the way, if you didn't know, Super Bowl weekend is one of the lowest attended movie-going weekends and times of the year. It was the second slowest weekend last year, then in 2025. Then in 2024, it actually ranked dead last for movie going. And I can tell you, went to a noon showing yesterday. Nobody was in there. It was an emptiest I've seen a movie theater in a long time out there. So, Send Help did lead all films with $10 million in that second weekend for it out there. It's made total of $53.7 million globally so far. It is an R-rated survival thriller. There's some bloody scenes and scenes in there as they're having to fend for themselves on an island and everything. But that movie has proved to be a solid, mid-budget success here for the movie chains. Interesting enough, Zootopia 2 still doing well as well. It's been out for 11 weeks now, and people are still going and see it. They actually crossed the $1.8 billion worldwide here in its 11th week of release. Now, keep in mind, a lot of that sales also is China things. And I told you about Melania. That just came out last weekend. That's from Amazon MGM. They added 300 theaters this weekend in that second weekend. But as I said, it dropped at a huge drop-off. $2.4 million in ticket sales, which equates to a 67% drop from its debut weekend. Movies that have 50, 60% drops in the second weekend, yeah, basically means you're not going to make your money back and drop. But how does a documentary not make its money back? Well, I can tell you. Yeah, $40 million is what Amazon MGM paid for the film rights for this movie. Then they put in $35 million to market it. $75 million for a documentary. I don't care who it's about. You're not making up $75 million in a documentary movie, folks, right? But Send Help. I recommend that movie if you like thrillers like that. I definitely recommend that. It was fun. It was entertaining. A little psychotic. Put it that way. I liked it. Go check it out. And number one movie over the weekend, even though plenty of seats open, at least yesterday when I went as well. Folks, appreciate you joining me here on this Monday edition of McCollum on Business. Don't forget, Tuesday, 7 a.m., we do the show for morning time. Come and join us tomorrow morning. We also noticed that the OnDemand on the morning shows are actually way up, as well as the live views as well. So we appreciate that. We'll see y'all tomorrow morning. Otherwise, the rest of the week we'll be here at 11 o'clock like normal, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But come and join us for the morning one tomorrow. Catch us now on demand. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Tuesday morning, 7 a.m. Everybody have a great Monday night and have some fun out there.